Hey everyone, Lensman Oz here and welcome to another episode of Modular Mayhem. Now, things are a little bit laggy today for some unknown reason. Really not sure what's going on with it, but that's cool. Got a few things to look into. Having a bit of an issue with power. These things are not generating anywhere near what they used to. Now I don't know if it's something to do with a mod update or whether there's been a change to how they work, but it's certainly not keeping up with the base. Obviously I did just add a bunch more machines in and everything. I mean, you can see them working, they're trying. And I've had to put in these couple here. I've put some phyto grow, which gives you a 2 times output. But things aren't keeping up. So we need a new source of power. Or a new source of at least steam. I mean, some way of making steam, because we're using this little turbine here. Now we could convert this over to using maybe oil, which was a consideration for this, is switch it to oil. I can just, let me get rid of some stuff in my inventory. Get rid of that and that. I've made one small change. You can see here, like, the tank's empty. It's getting minuscule amounts of fluid in here. It's just sort of keeping up. Now I could probably throw some coal in here and generate a bit of power, or you know, that sort of stuff. But yeah, things aren't going so well on that front. So one small change I've made over here. If you remember, I had the potatoes direct outputting into a mini chest. What I've done is I've changed this around. I was looking through in here at baked potatoes, which is what I was eating. There's a crafting recipe just using bakeware. So it doesn't require power, doesn't require anything, it's just bakeware and a potato. So instead of having to smelt it, we can do this. So I've grabbed a extra utilities mechanical crafter, set the recipe in here, and this is anytime potatoes drop in, making me baked potatoes. Now this, the mini chest is still here, so it's showing that we have 64 baked potatoes, and we've just got a little item duct pulling baked potatoes out and putting them in the mini chest. Now obviously this is going to fill up with tons, but yeah, that's fine. It's a good source of food. Once I finish burning through these, actually I might put them away for the moment. Salvage parts, I don't know where I had them. Maybe they can just go in here, and I'll go back to eating baked potatoes. Let's see, needed some niter for the phyto grow. Done a little bit of mining, not heaps. I've put most of what I mined up. Well, I did put a fair bit of it into the thing out there. Zinc from Future Back. Interesting. I don't know whether to run the zinc through. Yeah, we'll see what it does. Alright, let's just have a bit of a look through here. Now, I did consider a couple of things. I considered trying to do the nuclear craft. If you watch the family series, I was starting to look into doing nuclear craft generation in that pack, and I can't find the ores, which turns out is a pack related thing. They have made them quite rare to find. The zinc is processing into something. So I could do that here, or I could look into immersive petroleum. So we've got a couple of different ways of getting oil. We can work with, so we've got oil. Let's see, so got oil. Oh, I want to do uses of oil. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can use it for pneumatic craft, which I'm not into yet. An oil heater in magnetic craft. I really don't know. It's giving us hot crude. Didn't know that the magnetic craft oil system was implemented yet, but maybe it is. We can run it through a fractionating still and get tar, which is burnable. And I'm not even going to try and say it. I'd like to say it's naphtha, but which, oops, let's go back on. can be used to make sulfur and refined fuel, which could be used in the compression dynamo, for example. So maybe that's something we can do because we are using compression dynamos. So that's one thing. I mean we can use different things for the oil anyway, right? So oil can go straight into a compression dynamo and make 400,000 RF from one bucket. So yeah, there's a couple of things we can do with oil, and then you've got the whole immersive petroleum setup where we can convert it into, let's see, crude oil. Gone blank on what it. Oh. So immersive petroleum has a system. We've got, looks like Magneticraft has the system as well. Finally, I remember playing it a while back. Gasoline, kerosene, and diesel. I'm kind of interested in this. 1.2 million RF from gasoline. Kerosene, 1.5. So maybe we can set up some nice little power systems. I wonder if the diesel can be used. So there's a couple of things. Again, I didn't realize that Magneticraft had implemented that. It was in the original Modular Mayhem. If you've gone back and watched any of that, it was in the original pack. It looks like our oil heater and refinery has been added. Interesting. And the pump jacks. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how the Magneticraft stuff does oil generation, but we're going to have to look into this, I think, because this looks cool. So we'll look at a bunch of different ways of getting oil, and then a bunch of different ways of using oil. So I've already set up a ranged pump, and that's just over here. I had a bit of a look on the map and decided that this little area over here, and I forgot to put a marker down so I could just jump to it. Where is it? It's over this way a bit. And you may be able to see it on the map already. There's an area where there's like 5 or 6 lakes of oil. Well, Jenny. Yep, so here's some oil, some bunches of oil around. And just here is a little ranged pump, which has nowhere to pump stuff to. It's full. It's got 32 buckets of oil in it, and that's just going to pump up oil from the surrounding area. And I don't know where it's actually working. It's finding oil somewhere. I'm not sure which puddle it's working on, but that's fine. So let me just place a jump point here. Otherwise, I'm going to be flying backwards and forwards and go flying backwards and forwards all the time. Okay, the other thing we can do is, and it's becoming nighttime, down here, and you'll see this little set of logs that I've got here. Immersive Engineering and Immersive Petroleum has a pump jack. Now, it works on scanning the area. Let's grab this stuff. Some things I threw in here earlier. I've made a dev null as well for when I go mining, because otherwise it's just a pain. Too much cobble, especially with the Uber hammer that I have. So in your book here, I made a projector and I've set it up to do the pump jack. So to do that, you actually open this up, find the page that you want, and then close the book and craft it with the projector, and it will give it the recipe or the however you want to make what you want. So this one, I'd like to set up this pump jack, and so I'm going to need to grab some materials. So I'm going to grab these materials. I've got a bit of iron, we should be right, and I'll sleep through the night, and I'll be back once I've got all those things together, and we'll go and set up a pump jack, and I'll show you what I was how I found where I needed to do what I'm what I'm about to do. Back in a moment. Okay, I have everything I need to set this up, except for maybe a good power source, but that's fine for the moment. Okay, so each chunk when you're generating, or when you're using immersive petroleum, will generate a certain amount of ores and liquids. So if you've used the immersive engineering big mining thing before, you'll know how to do this. Pretty much what you need to do is get a core sample drill. Now the core sample drill, as if you hold it, will show you what chunk you're in. And when you do a test, you will test that particular chunk. So I've tested this one and I've tested this one. So let's do this chunk here. So you throw down your core sample drill and it needs power. So I've just got a leadstone energy cell that I'd made up. To run this, you just right click on it and it will run a sample of this chunk. It goes all the way down, goes all the way back up and stops. And you right click and you'll get a sample. In that sample, it will tell you what is in this area. So if you look here, we've got a pyrite vein and it's got 740,000 millibuckets of lava. It expects you that if you put a mining drill here thing, you'll get 38,400 ores. Nice. I don't think you can place these. Oh, you can. Oh, that's cool. You can place them down in the world. I'll just shift right click that, which is a great indicator of, you know, I've done this area. This is what I'd get, and you can look at it, and it tells you. That's awesome. I like that. The one here was nothing. There was nothing in this at all, and the one in this chunk. So let's grab our sample drill just so I can see which chunk I'm working in. Okay, I'm in the chunk now. The one in this chunk, if we look, it has 9,001 buckets, or 9 million millibuckets of oil. There's nothing else. There's no ores. There's no, as you can see, that says no mineral. But the cool thing, I don't know why I'm using an axe. What am I doing? Cool thing about this is that we can do a scan of a particular area and decide its feasibility for a machine. So this area here will be good, which is why I put the little plus of wood down. So next thing we need to do is get our little projector and then work out where we're going to put this. So let's get rid of these things. And again, it's not the best way of mining it. I could have got my mining drill out, but if I place this down here, it'll show you what you need to build and where you need to build it. But only while you're holding it. Awesome. So we're going to get some friendly mobs here soon. This is a much nicer way of doing this rather than trying to use the book and remember where you put everything, or remember where everything needs to go. They go there, and then we need a light engineering block to go there. It automatically goes to the next level. That one goes there. Pretty sure I only needed one of them, so let's do heavy. And we'll have some fences here. Nice. One there, one there. And there's the other heavy. Okay, so block of steel, I think that one is, or it could be the steel sheet metal. Not really sure what that one is. Let's put a that there, and is that the one? Yes. They may be wrong because they're in red. That's interesting. They are wrong because they're in red. So let's pick these couple. Oh yeah, we'll use this. They must be blocks of iron, blocks of steel. Sorry. Yep, there we go. Blocks of steel. That there, and then the last two fences. One there. One there. It's giving us a green. We need our hammer. I'm not sure where to hit with this. That'll do it. And there we go. I guess we can take that off our taskbar now, or our bar. We'll get rid of this block here. And here we have a pump jack from Immersive Engineering. So it obviously needs power and it needs the ability to pump out into something. I've borrowed the two ender tanks that I was going to use, well, that I was using for steam. I borrowed them just to see if we can get this thing to work. It'll pump out both sides. And it probably won't be able to generate enough power with this. But we'll give it a go. Oh, it's trying. It's trying to pump. If I got the... I'm not sure what's left in this energy cell. Yeah, it'll drain that pretty quick. But here we go. It should pump. And we should be getting oil in here. Mr. Creeper. How are you doing? Excellent. So yeah, really nice way of doing mining in the without having to completely destroy the area. And this is pretty nifty. Don't know why it's purple. I guess it doesn't. Doesn't have a texture. Do you want to fight, do you, buddy? Okay. Let's have it. And your pal here. What'd you drop? They've all got enchanted bows. Oh, don't hit the horse. Alright. So I don't need a mushroom. Have a mushroom, buddy. So pump jack's working. It will give us oil. And we'll be getting oil into our little ender tank here. So next step would be to find things we can use the oil for. So obviously we can use, as I said, we could potentially put oil in here, maybe. I think that will work. Compression dynamo can accept oil. So I could push it straight in as oil. As I showed you before, and it depends which oil we've got. But compression dynamo will make 400,000 RF from that. And if we look at tree oil, it's the same amount. It's the same power amount. But if we can convert it into something better, so maybe we can do the refinery, and then we have, as I showed you, gasoline makes 1.2 million. So that'll go make a heap more steam. So maybe magnetic craft is the way to go. Or we continue with the immersive petroleum. But magnetic craft is something that I don't see a lot of when I'm on the floating around the internet. So if we go a magnetic craft, I'm going to see what is required to make this and see if it does work, because obviously we do have some issues where some of it may not be quite working yet, so it may be a work in place thing. But so we're going to need the oil heater and the refinery. So oil heater is going to require a copper plate and paper and a bucket, and the refinery is going to require the same, oh there we go, iron mesh it looks like. I'm going to need to make some iron mesh. Right, so give me a couple of moments. I will clean my inventory out and we'll see if we can make one of these refineries. And I'm out of power. Oh, I may need to use the oil just to keep us going. In which case, what I might do is just plop him here and output him. Maybe this will pick up. I don't know, I might need to empty the tree oil out. and stop it working and run off the crude for the moment. So let's do that. Let's disconnect that for the moment. Hoping I can run this on regular oil. I may need to break it and replace it to get rid of what's in it. Oh, that was working. Let's just do this properly. So I'll play around with this and I'll be right back. Okay, so the blueprints you use for the Magneticraft stuff are fairly involved when you place them down. So I've got one there. I think this one here is for the oil heater, and I think I'll put the other one like maybe there. That should be alright. So we're going to need a lot of materials, and like a lot. The cool thing about these things is they tell you it's looking at a particular block, it's finding air, it should be finding a support column. Same with these here. So support columns, if you look them up, require light lead plates. So I can either make them manually, light lead plates, using the little thing here, which I could do, or I could make a hydraulic press. So I've made the blueprint for a hydraulic press over here, and I've started to craft it, but this honestly is going to take me a fairly long time to craft all these items, an amount. So it's looking for at least another couple of iron grate, and then some sort of yellow stripy one, and there's a thing in the middle there. So I'm kind of winging it, because in the book it doesn't have, it has about the pump jack, it has a few other things. If I go to multi-blocks, it's not there. Maybe it's in machines. Electric furnace, no. Generators, see, no, it's not. I don't see it here, so I don't, yeah, anyway. So I'm having to kind of play it by ear, and would you be quiet, please, spider? That was weird. I don't know why this thing makes things explode every now and then. I think it's just a supercharged part. Right, so need one there. So it's expecting a copper coil machine block or two. So I'm going to go ahead and build this up. It's weird how it shows it through the trees and everything too. But I can see me now spending a fair amount of time, copper coil machine block, having to make all sorts. So I need 3 of these, which means I'm going to need the light iron plates. And for some reason it's not I might have to play around with it a little and get it to or dictionary, because it's not working at this point. So I don't have enough iron either. I'm going to have to go mining again. So here's some iron plates, and now I'm out of iron, but lead, should be able to do lead on here. So you can see this is going to be a long process until I get that plate thing up and running. But I am decidedly short on a few things. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, well, this is taking far longer than I expected. I'm nowhere near making that stuff, mainly because I've got to make so many of those plates. Just one word of advice. When you're building this, and I'm just about to form it, the image looks like it's meant to be upright, so that you can see these blocks have, let me try and jump up here. These blocks have a pattern on them, so you've got the cross on the top. The little shadow image for this one looks like that with the cross on the top, but it actually wants you to put them that way. It does say in the tooltip, if you look down here, these ones say support column y-axis. That one up there was saying it was expecting Z axis, so I guess it's this way. But this should work. I should be able to go, and we get this massive big multi-block, which can do plates, reinforced plates, and all that sort of good stuff. I don't know what the ingot one is, but it's going to need some power. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't quite have things set up right here, but so it's going to be a little bit ugly until I can get it fixed, I guess. Let's give it a go. No. Is this the right thing? Let's take these out of here. Am I using the wrong thing? Could have sworn this was the thing I needed. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the other copper coil thing. You doobie whacker. Copper. Oh, I think I just need a one of them, which means I need another iron. Another iron thing. And I had to make a steel hammer. I did wear my iron one out. Steel ones are nice and quick though, which is nice. Maybe it's just one of these. Let's get rid of that one. Oop. Come on. Out through the door. Thank you. Okay, do you work? Shift click, click, and then shift click. All right. No power? Oh. This thing is not keeping up. That's for sure. I think this is probably still running, which unfortunately, we're down to copper. That's the last of it. So I guess this is not enough power generation. Maybe we'll look at better power generation for magnetic craft in a future episode. It'd be nice if I could do RF too. Let's get that out of there. It'd be nice if I could do RF to the magnetic craft system. I probably can. Magnetic. Do we still have? There used to be something you could convert with. I don't know if it still exists. There's only one block, one page of items here. Battery block. I don't know. Maybe it's one of these. Nope. Solar mirrors, grinders, sieves. No, that's cool. It's all right. Maybe there'll be something we can do. But anyway, that's fine. Yeah, I don't see anything else. It's going to let me do that for the moment, but that's fine. So this needs to generate some power, and then we can get some power into here, and we can get, I don't know whether this will turn something into an ingot. Hopefully this thing works. Otherwise this has been a whole heap of wasted time. Let's just jump in here and find out. I'll throw these in. They should auto process to an extent. Let's just take these. How much copper? Yeah, it's probably more likely going to need lead, aren't I? Grab a chunk of lead. That one poor little steam engine chugging away. Take that. I don't think I need any sort of. Maybe I need 11. Maybe that's the power input. Maybe I got this wrong. Maybe this is an item input, which is highly possible. That would explain it. That goes there. Oh yeah, we're getting power now. Here we go. Oh, look at that. that is going to come in. This guy's coming from miles. Look at him. He's coming for me. Coming. Save you the trip, buddy. There you go. Get your power. This is an enormous sword. Come here. Oh, he could have given me a sword. Alright, so obviously this is going to come in very handy for getting all these plates and the stuff that I need to make this, because honestly, this thing's huge and it is going to require... Oh, look, an android. Come here, buddy. I want your gun. No, didn't give me a gun. That's alright. It's worth a try. This is going to require a ton of these support columns and a ton of these, what are they? I think it's corrugated iron machine blocks? Yeah. So they're just iron. Tons and tons of iron plates. And then the support columns are a lot of lead plates. So looking at the oil system as well. So we've got hot crude, which is obviously the crude oil going through this heater thing, which will be the next one I make. And then potentially we'll make some sort of tank, storage tank. And I'll pipe it from here to here. We are using this oil at the moment and it is coming in very handy. It is running the base. So once we get the hot crude is run through a refinery, as I was saying earlier, and we get petroleum gas, light oil, and heavy oil. Light oil can be run through a refinery, and so can heavy oil. So we're probably going to need maybe 3 of these refineries. So 3 of them, which is a lot. And it's going to take up a bit of space, but we'll get the 3 refineries working. Maybe I'll put the other 2, like one here for light, one here for heavy, and I will have to decorate the area up a bit to make it a bit more industrial and a bit more not just things plonked on a field somewhere. So these guys really want to say hi. How you going, guys? Having a good day? I don't think you're having a good day. Yeah, so we'll have to tidy this area up and get a few more of these. This being said, how's this thing going? It's getting there, slowly. So I'm gonna, in between episodes, make up all these materials and that one there. I don't think there's much different in this. I think it's much the same sort of blocks. A lot of support columns, a lot of the iron blocks. That's fine. Now that we're not using as much of this, things are sort of keeping up. If we go down here, we've got a fair bit of the liquid coming in. It's still not quite keeping up, but it's doing something. And it's very slowly getting there. But oil, this one here, the reason it's not getting so much steam out there is because it's not getting as much oil. But this running off crude oil is giving us an output of 240. We're staying pretty full of power in here, and this is now running the base. So just that crude oil we're pumping up. And you know what, if we have to move things around, we'll move them around. But for the moment, I'm going to wrap up here. I'll get those distillation towers made in between episodes, and hopefully come back next episode and do a bit more oil processing and try and see our way to making some nifty power generation from one base income product, so from our oil. On the message of that, I do need to make probably another ender tank. I think I've got just enough blaze rods at the moment to make one more, and that's going to need to go over onto the range pump, just so that we can, let's just jump over there. I know it's not time, but this little thing here, I think it'll output to that. I don't know, I might need to put pipes on it of some description, but that's alright. Anyway, wrapping up point. Thanks everyone for watching. Please leave your comments in the section below. I hope you come back and join me next time. See yous later.